There we go. Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Part 2. Session 6? 6? 5. 5. Session 5, part 2. Yeah. All right. So, welcome back. So you go walking into the tent. You give your slight bow there. Now, she had asked to speak to your quartermaster, Josh. Because you chose that focus, why don't you do me a favor, roll me an intelligence with that military background thingy focus. Oh my god, that's sexy for 2 reasons. Doxy,
No.
what do you do, Doxy?
What do you mean? What do I do?
What do you
Oh,
do?
as soon as we're in there?
Yeah. Do you also bow or say something nice?
I would curtsy.
Yep.
I would say nothing until either addressed or
Undressed.
whatever. Yeah. I would say nothing. She would not start discourse.
Yep. Okay. So in Josh, it was sent. You did actually get. This is the 3rd time this session. It's beautiful. You actually have double stunned. It's
Oh my
crazy.
goodness.
Like, you wish it happens in combat, but instead you're getting it like in combat. You're like, I make 2 attacks, 3 attacks, 4 attacks, 5 attacks. I just keep going. But
This spell for free and that spell for free.
Yeah.
all the power. So yeah, you actually have. This is going to be a role play or investigation thing. But before you decide what you want to spend that on, she had asked to speak to a quartermaster, and you have one here. Their structure, their military structure here is a bit different than a typical place. So typically speaking, when you have a military, you have like your head commander, and they have their various persons underneath them that give out their chain of command stuff. Yay, blah blah blah. A quartermaster would fall under the head commander's commands and would be the person that kind of parses out the various supplies or whatever it is that you need. It's not exactly how it works in Yovance. A quartermaster does that, but they're not under the command of whoever it is that rules this camp or whatever here. They actually are their own mercantile person that sells supplies. It's almost like war profiteering on the spot. Like, oh, cool, you need guns? Guess what? I happen to follow you around with a stash full of guns. Give me gold and I'll give you a gun. You know what I mean? Like for armor, shields, so on and so forth. So they're literally here for the purpose of selling supplies, selling supplies and making money off of the army itself without actively being a part of the army. Yay, oligarchies.
Yep. Just love that.
Oh, goodness.
What are you using those stunt points for?
I don't know.
I don't know. Too many stunts.
There is double stunt reward for the DM. It actually explicitly says that you could choose DM or PC.
So evaluation. I'm gonna take a focus in that. It lets me evaluate goods and stuff, and the value of goods and stuff in the room. Damn, 12. So many. All right. I want to give the object of my attention a bonus 1 to further test to examine the aspects of the object. So I guess him.
Or just like the tent, the supplies, so on and so forth. I'm fine with that. Yep.
Okay.
So Oscar, you bow.
Yep.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, while he's
12.
figuring this out.
Well, you bow, and do you say anything? Does he speak first?
I would let him speak first. It's his tent.
Welcome to my happy little home on the road. Now, so what do I owe the gratitude of Venator? Is it? Of Venator? And what do you bring with you there? Is that your wife and your boy?
Something like that.
Oh?
What I'm looking for is heavy leather armor. Do you have any? Simple stuff, plain stuff. Stuff that won't be marked as military.
Oh, I understand now. You're looking to look like one of us. Someone like you would stand out, wouldn't you? So far from your your home.
Something like that. Yes.
It's a good thing that you have your puny little nation being protected so well by our soldiers, huh?
Oscar doesn't say anything at that, and he is gripping the spear a little bit tighter. Now, the spear is still out, by the way. Like, he's stood... It's kind of awkward to put away, so it's very much in, like, a resting position. But he does grip the knuckles a little bit harder.
Doxy, perception check. Ooh, 3 stunt. Good for you. Funny enough, you also got a stunt double.
Oh my goodness.
This is roleplay or exploration for you with your 14 that you got with your number there, Docs. With your 14, you actually know that this guy is intentionally trying to provoke Oscar here, but you can also tell he's intentionally trying to provoke Oscar for entertainment.
Okay.
What do you want to use your 6 stunt on?
I'm looking.
Flirt!
All right.
Flirt!
Flirt. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
She's just hold on, puts on like this super skimpy, gets like a chain. She's like, "You want a layup?"
Oh goodness. Stop, Scott. Scott. I want to do a makes me wonder. Do another perception check. I'm gonna lose 1 stunt point in this. I'll just take advantageous positioning, but I don't know if it's gonna really do much here.
Sure.
And I'm gonna take 2 focuses: evaluation and heraldry. I want to know who this guy is. If based off like maybe the books I read, maybe I saw his family name and a crest, maybe.
So yeah, you don't have to make a check for that. This is information I'm just giving you, correct?
No, I get the focus.
Yep.
I do a perception check to gain more information of the area, and then I also want to see if with the heraldry check, to see if I can figure out who this guy is.
Roll your checks while Doxy's deciding what to do with her 6 stunt. Jesus. Okay, you don't get double, so calm down. You actually technically
I don't get any. Well,
I know.
From heraldry I do, because it's a different check.
Gotcha,
the perception
okay.
I don't.
Either way,
but,
you don't get double, you just get 3.
Yeah.
So think about that in a second. But so with your perception check, kind of like...
Can we add it to degree of success? And because that's a lot of stunts.
So what is this saying? The looking around at the stuff that's inside here, so on and so forth, just trying to take it in. He does have varying degree of equipment. You can clearly tell, and it's separated, where he has his stockpiles to one side. No, you can see, my apologies, 0 stuff inside here of stuff that you would sell for slaves. 0 armor, weapons, whatever for slaves. There must be in another tent nearby, which would make sense. But he does have equipment in here of value, of quality, that he would sell to, say, one of the peoples in here that actually have money, one of the commanders, so on and so forth, whatever they might be. You can see that he definitely has their stuff held inside this tent, and it is quality, it is of craft. With your intelligence heraldry check, you do have the 3 stunt dice to spend. We can do that in a moment. You can clearly tell that he is, I shouldn't say clearly, you can tell that he's of a mercantile background, which mercantile background generally be like nobility, but he's not of a high family line. His crest or whatever that he has in there doesn't stand out as being any degree of like one of the high tier merchants. He's maybe a middle tier merchant, you know what I mean? Which is why he's at a place like this, you know what I mean? Like, oh, protecting a Malta? Cool. You know, he's not at the front lines. He's like back here. So he's of a mid-family. With your stunt die, if you want to roll an additional perception check, you can try to like, get a judge off of him. If you want to use your 3 for that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You're like, have these mountains, 6. But however, his family is ever being mid-tier. You can't necessarily tell where he sits in his own family line or whatever. If he's oldest, middle, youngest, you don't get like those tells. Doxy, you had 6 stunt dice with your to get that he's trying to intentionally piss him off for entertainment.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to use Tower of Will, and I'm also going to use Bomo, and I will just look at him and kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Like a sinister chuckle. Like, just like, you have no idea. You have no idea.
Sinister towards who?
Towards the quartermaster.
Oh,
I want him to focus on me instead of on
Gotcha.
Oscar.
Gotcha.
Oscar's liable to kill this man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have a much cooler head.
So you're not laughing with him, you're laughing at him.
Yes.
So you're trying to more or less be like, like you idiot, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So
question: Do we have to do any type of check to realize what she's doing? Because I want to play on
empathy, that. Perception, empathy. Yep.
I'm gonna try and tell as well, just because it's gonna make my life easier if I do notice.
She's of course gonna roll a communications on this, because she's not trying to be too obvious or whatever. But wow, Doxy, it's good to get your shittiest roll out of the way.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
This is the
Literally
second
the worst
time
possible.
that I've crit failed in this campaign.
But
And that's still 6. Her lowest is still a 6.
Yeah,
Just saying.
it's true.
But literally all this was for them to understand what you were doing. So they crushed you. They perfectly understand what it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
In that case, I am going to try and compose myself, and look less angry. And should I make a self-discipline check for that? I'm just kind of realizing that I probably should try and build that composure a little bit.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay.
I am gonna sway the crowd with my stunt points, and I'm gonna say, oh, my lady, don't you know this man? He's obviously some type of merchant, and well, maybe not worth his weight of gold, but worth a lot.
Just so you know, with that, we can just simply say you also use Tower of Will. It's like you said, you compose yourself so fucking well. He definitely doesn't see it, and you go Tower of Will at yourself. Okay.
Okay. I was going to suggest either Tower of Will, or I was going to maybe enrage him. But
I would reply to Laszlo, and I would say, doesn't he know who I am?
So Laszlo, what did you say first? I heard Doxy, of course.
Okay, I was saying that I want to use my stunt points to do sway the crowd for the people, like maybe his like right-hand man, right? And I say, my lady, can't you tell this man's obviously a merchant, maybe not worth his weight in gold, but worth a lot.
And then Doxy says, doesn't this man know who I am?
Yeah.
And so he's like looking back and forth between all of you, and he genuinely looks a little confused. He saw a Venator walk in here with a gnome and a pretty lady, and did not assess this. He can clearly tell he didn't assess the situation correctly. He looks a little confused.
That's better. About those leathers.
Armor, and wasn't there something that you needed as well?
I'll be taking a slave.
Hold on a moment here, he says, and he tries to draw time to calculate as he takes a long drink from his trough goblet in his hand, and when he pulls it away, you can see a bit of the wine kind of dripping down the side of his face. He doesn't go to clean it up. Moments later, a servant comes over and starts dabbing his chins for him, and he's like, so you come in here and you want to buy leathers, but you make a point, pretty little lady. I don't know who you are. And he kind of swats away the person that's dabbing at his chins for too long.
Don't let your commander know that you don't know who I am.
Oh, he doesn't have a commander.
Don't let the commander of this camp know that you don't know who I am. Wouldn't want the men breaking their backs, hoisting your fat ass above the walls for all to see.
Communications, you're not trying to intimidate, you're trying to enrage, of course, but it's a communication check. He's like, now listen here, little lady. You are going to respect me when you come walking into my tent. Give me 1 second. He's actually going to counter the communications to you. and see. You get a +1 to that. So actually, is 12 for you, Docs. And the stunt is going to be for degree of success if we tie. Sorry.
I desperately need him to roll garbage.
So more or less, you can see that as he like kind of sits up a little bit in his chair, and you can see like his face starting to like sway a little bit underneath his movements. He gets a little bit red in the face. He doesn't appreciate the fact that you're getting like angry, that you're like mistreating him when you came walking into his tent less than a minute beforehand, and so on and so forth. So he's clearly getting very upset about that. It's one of those, you are definitely pissing him off, but haven't necessarily wrestled control of the situation, of the conversation. Continue.
I don't think he has the leathers.
I don't think the slaves are worth taking even for free. Which of you... Ew, sorry. Which of you would like to go with us?
And that's not how things work around here. You buy from me. This is my camp, and you buy from me.
Oh, is it your camp now?
Oh yes, it is.
The whole camp.
Absolutely.
So you purchased every single one of these soldiers.
If it wasn't for my supplies, your little place would be destroyed.
My little place.
Absolutely.
You don't even know where I'm from.
You're from a Malta.
You don't even know where I'm from.
You are from a Malta. That shit staying on Eroth.
You are just an absolute delight. Do you know anything about a Malta?
I know that I'm staring at a Venator that doesn't
Right.
know the respect. This is why your nation falls apart, you know. It's because
Your idea of respect is not what respect is.
you get out of
Otherwise, you'd be trying to
get
have
out
a
of my
decent
tent.
conversation.
You get out of my tent now.
I need leathers. How much?
Once again, this is a communications check because, God, you are trying to give him money, and he does like money.
I'm trying to give him money here.
Yeah.
That's actually not terrible.
And Doxy, I don't know if you chime in, if you want to assist in this at all.
Oh,
I would say, and the
I would-
slave, but we'll be taking that.
I have a +1 to that check as well, so it's actually a 13. Just a note.
Okay. Doxy, you can also roll your communications if you'd like. This is
Sure.
bargaining, by the way, for you.
Does this guy's colors match the fancy tent? Jesus, Priscilla.
No, not at
Okay.
all.
So, okay.
Whatever that fancy tent was, a non-military tent, you have no idea what it was. His is technically a military tent. Doxy, don't forget you got a +1 on that one because of the
Yeah. You could have the corpse of ours if you want, but I won't be paying a single gold piece.
He like, so when you say all that stuff, he seems aggravated with the Venator's tone and everything, and he'll actually turn his attention to Doxy, to Chrysalin, and says, "You tell your whipping boy to leave, and I'll make a deal with you."
Chrysalin, hopefully Oscar knows playing a part, just claps. Like it's a command.
I need to probably roll perception.
Light something on fire.
You might notice that because I don't think that Oscar's going to necessarily pick up on this being a it being a part. I don't know. He's kind of hesitant. He doesn't move is part of the problem here. He wouldn't move.
Away. Dismissed.
Oscar stands. He's standing firm at this. He's not comfortable with it, and he's just standing.
It seems like we've got ourselves a problem here. He leans over to one of his servants and says, "You go and get the commander. Let's see if we can get them strung up before sunset. Be nice entertainment."
Oscar, you just fucked us, by the way.
Yeah, I know. He wouldn't move.
I'm pissed.
And so
Yeah.
a servant goes leaving the tent, and he's like, "It's gonna be fun. You just sitting there waiting. I like the way that this is gonna play out." And he just kind of like sits back and starts picking out like belly button lint.
Go get that servant. Go get him. Go. Kind eyes at you, but stern words.
He's really, really hesitant, and then he goes.
When you step outside the tent, you see that the servant is running across this open area over to.
Yeah, okay, I'll run after him.
He's not wearing clothes. He still grabs him by the collar.
Not stamina. It's actually Constitution. Running is the is a skill for short distance. Stamina's for long distance.
Fair enough. So I'm gonna re-roll it anyways. There you go.
Oh, Jesus,
that's the regular one, and I'm gonna just roll it again because I'm allowed to take the higher of the two no matter what. So I will take that 18.
That's insane.
Oh my god. Oh god. You ready for me to roll mine?
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Here we go. Ready? I rolled
really good.
extremely well. Jesus Christ.
Too bad.
Yeah.
Not well enough.
Oh my god, I rolled almost perfection. That's
You
crazy.
did.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the funny thing is, even with perfection, you still would have been too shy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, these slaves don't have high constitutions.
Yeah.
So,
And I was just gonna grab him on the shoulder when I catch up to him and just say, "Oh, that won't be necessary."
like, it's one of those they're not even gonna like yelp.
And Oscar just walks him back.
Okay.
Very casually, just guiding him, hand on the back, really kindly guiding him back to that tent.
Okay, Doxy, he finally goes leaving the tent. Do you say anything after he walks or makes his way out of the tent?
I'll just say numbers, and he would recognize those numbers as measurements for leathers, and it would be Oscar's measurements for leathers.
You roll another bargain, but I'm going to tell you right now, this is not an easy one, Oscar. As you said, just fucked us.
It was almost perfection.
Oh, that's really funny. Look,
oh man,
we're very good at the very specific things that we do.
Nigh impossible is the DC of a 21. You got a 22, I think, right? Because you have a modifier
Yeah.
on this. Yeah. Nigh impossible is a 21. I was like, it's gonna be hard for her. I'm gonna be a dick. I'm gonna make it imposing. She's gonna be so mad when she fails and she gets like a 16 or something.
I'm dropping coins into my hand.
No, Doxy, you have
saying
4
the
stunt
numbers.
points. How do you spend those 4 stunt points? As you're saying numbers and win the check.
I feel like this is not a flirt situation.
I was considering it actually.
I feel like that's just danger.
This is about half as much as a night with me.
Does Tower of Will stack?
No, not really.
Okay.
Maybe just.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a really good
Yeah.
idea.
That
Because
is
you can
what I'm-
change his deposition.
Yeah, you can.
Target must make a TN 11 willpower self-discipline test. Self-discipline. That's definitely this guy's forte.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
So with a fail on that one, he turned a phrase, twisted expression, made whatever comic motion, whatever it is. Those nearby laugh. He tries to stifle his laughter as you're coming over there giving coin and make whatever joke if you care to come up with something if you like Doxy. And he can't. He's just kind of like...
The jokes at his expense too. The first numbers that she says are what she assumes his measurements are. And then she's just like, just kidding, for my bodyguard. And then says the real numbers.
Nice. He actually chuckles considerably at that one. Oh man, I'm sure he makes some sort of uncouth response that I don't need to say. You come up with something in your head about measurements and his.
He's not a real man.
So Josh has had to use that line before. So anyways, when you come back in, Oscar, with the
Yeah, just
Doxy
guiding it
to
back
feed.
in, and then I just stand in front of the door of the tent.
You see, like, you come walking back in. It's actually one of the servants moments later comes over with, oh, Doxy, how much were you willing to spend?
We haven't discussed the prices.
Oh, I suppose because you said you were counting coins. I was more or less just saying, yeah, it works out. So sure, let's meta. The conversation happens. So he wanted boiled leathers. I have some details right here.
Yeah, just something. I assume that would be heavy leather. Boiled leathers would be heavy.
Yeah.
But,
Give me 1 second. Heavy leather. Yeah. So it's one of those things where heavy leather definitely he can get his hands on. But would you have gone for like quality stuff, Doxy? Because like heavy leather is just simply 30 gold. You know what I mean? But he's going to be, well, I suppose with your 22 on your check, he beat you by a bunch. We'll say it's the flat 30 gold it's supposed to be.
Whatever the
as opposed to the
plainest leather there was.
So you don't want to
is
go.
what I would
You
get
don't
him.
want to go with like high quality this, that, the other thing. Just plain heavy leather. Not the slave stuff, of course. So just 30 gold then.
Actually, can I do a military lore to know what someone that's like a high-ranking bodyguard kind of thing would wear?
Sure.
Like in quality of leather-wise, right?
Sure. Oh Jesus.
Okay.
He's like, okay, I'll roll good. Me like you.
In case we want to do that whole bodyguard thing later.
If you want to go with a bodyguard, it depends on where you are, who they're guarding, so on and so forth. They're going to be anywhere between, say, heavy leather to light mail. You know what I mean? It's going to be in that range right there. That usually wouldn't be wearing plates or something unless they're like bodyguarding a king, in which case it's not really a guard. It's more of a kingsman sort of a thing, you know? So heavy leather to light mail in that range. Most likely heavy leathers for where you are.
Okay, and I can that when he brings out the leathers, can I do an evaluation to make sure he's giving us something that's at least of the value, without a doubt. I mean, I know
you're fine.
he
All
is.
good. Yeah, that's all good. Yeah, you're good. And also, I would say that one of the things you might also think, Josh, is that he doesn't just wield a spear. He wields a very specific style of spear. He wields a Venator spear. It's one of their primary weapons that they tend to use. So it might not be a bad idea to also, if he prefers spears, have him grab another spear from here, or another weapon in general from here, because that stands out. And his shield, he uses the shield again. That's very obviously a Venator shield with like the cutout into it and so on and so forth. That's pretty obvious too. You know what I mean? Like
All right,
pretty much
I'll
everything
say-
about him screams, "I'm a man of my position."
I'll say this to Chrisellen. I'll say, my lady, his shield and spear stand out quite. It's quite obvious as well.
Those we can likely get elsewhere. Those we can likely replace elsewhere.
Just so you know, Doc, literally between you and Paradel, there's gonna be the front lines. So elsewhere would just be another one of these camps.
That's fine. I'm just not trying to fucking be in this tent with this dude any longer than I have to be. And, like, especially since I would want Oscar to pick the weapon that he was the most comfortable with and pick his shield and stuff, and Oscar's not allowed in this tent right now. So I'm trying to hurry us out of here.
So like I said, it all happens so fast after Oscar leaves because of like how well you rolled. Then we're talking literally, Oscar walks up to the guy leading him by the shoulder. The servant on the inside opens the tent. Clearly, the servant on the inside is listening for people on the outside. So they probably heard whatever conversation you were having earlier. Opens up the tent. That servant comes walking back in, and like within like 6-7 seconds later, another servant walks out holding the leathers for Oscar.
Shall I just be taking that one then, or
Gesturing towards the one that Oscar was leading.
the servant? Yeah.
He goes, can't even follow a simple task. I suppose you could take it. You leave it here, I'll probably just end up, having some entertainment on the thing.
I hope the rest of your day is as delightful as you are.
Oscar grips the servant's shoulder in a really reassuring way. Like it's done in a way that's not aggressive at all, to the point where it actually might be comforting. That's the intent, anyways. It probably won't come across that way because I just chased him down, but that's the intention. Hearing that
He's malnourished. You break his collarbone.
Communications.
I bid you adieu, quartermaster.
Communications. He's like,
me or him?
he's like, you should really look into your company. If you're looking to spend some good time with someone that can show you the right way, I'll show you this is the way.
Duly noted.
Why'd you roll communications?
Because you said communications.
Is that for me?
That was for you, because you're
Oh,
grasping the shoulder.
I'm sorry.
Trying to reassure our boy here. It's a 4. He's probably terrified.
Yep. You grip the guy's shoulder, you're like, come with me, boy. And he's like,
Well, at least he's at attention.
What is this guy sitting on?
So it's one of those things where there's lots of like cushions or whatever that are there to make it comfortable, but it's definitely some sort of a structure that's designed to support like with probably wood in its craft, but it's hard to tell underneath all the cushions and blankets and whatnot that are there.
I'm gonna look at a pillow and I just tell me if I can do this.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it'd be obvious.
It would.
I mean,
Also, we're not evil.
I'm not gonna kill him. This would just burn him a little bit. This ain't gonna kill him. He could use the
It's
burn
only
the fat a little.
prank.
It's
only
Frank.
Don't be mad, bro. Don't be mad, bro. All right, no, if it's gonna be obvious, I won't do it. I'm not gonna put us in a spot that.
We could outrun this fat bastard. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, but we can't.
I definitely could.
Actually, Crescellin might not be.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the juggernaut, bitch.
Yep.
I would leave the tent after that.
Okay. You guys go walking out of the tent, and again, it's one of those things where, Oscar, if you didn't know beforehand, which I don't think you did, which the commander's tent is, you do now, because you just saw a servant running towards it.
Yep.
And Laszlo already was able to identify it beforehand.
Hmm.
I would look at the servant now, and I would say, "What's your name?"
It looks at you and does not, respond right away. Looks concerned.
Oscar kind of just... first of all, Oscar actually removed his hand from the servant as they were walking out and just says, it's not necessarily something worth talking about here, but you're in better hands now.
Just doesn't nod, nothing. Just stares and then looks away.
Our cart's this way.
Follows you, doesn't say anything.
Does it have any, does this slave have any markings, bindings, anything that would indicate that, I'm assuming it's a he.
Yes.
There's no women in this camp whatsoever.
So then he, does he have any markings, or anything?
No bindings or anything
no
like that,
bindings.
because this is a slave that would have been for interior aid as opposed to,
How is he dressed?
Yeah.
Very simple, but clean clothes.
So he has actually
very
better clothes than mine.
And mine, yeah.
I mean, when I say very simple, it's one of those things where it's like the material's not much better than that of a burlap sack, but very simple but clean clothes.
Okay. And what?
Homespun.
How sizing?
Well, you have the person.
Yeah.
They're 5'9", rather frail.
Okay.
Age probably in their 20s, late 20s, early 30s,
okay.
somewhere in there. It's hard to tell.
Roll for hot.
They're malnourished. Can they have a cheeseburger first? Just say
So
this is
instead
my
of
best
3d6, instead of 3d6, you get 2.
Yeah, there you go. So 2d6. There you go. All right, we'll roll for hotness at 2d6. / roll 2d6.
Not very.
Okay.
Out of 18. 4 out of 18.
Okay.
God, that horse really did work on
Excuse
your
me.
face.
Excuse me. I am 5'11", not 9, and I am a beefy boy.
Beefy.
As soon as we get him back to the cart, I'm going to say, "What is your name? You may speak freely here. No one will draw sword or spear against you."
Ka.
Ka. You're among friends, Ka.
My name is Oscar.
Like, eye twitches when you say you're among friends.
It's nice to meet you.
Doesn't nod, doesn't respond, just kind of looks in your direction for a moment, then looks away.
When's the last you ate?
Today?
Oscar pulls out like several rations out of his pack because he's got spares still. He's still got dried rations, and he's gonna just hand them to Ka, and this is three rations that he's giving him.
So you hand him rations, and he just holds them.
For you. Eat as much or as little as you'd like.
Looks down at it, didn't realize it was food.
Mm-hmm.
What was the last you ate?
Food?
What kind?
It's bread and food.
These aren't going to be extremely delicious, but they're dried rations. They're good for you. They're healthy. And they're not very tasty, but they're what we eat while we're on the road.
Can any of us cook? I look at the rest of the two.
Oscar kind of looks at you and just kind of shakes his head a little bit.
It would be an intelligence roll, wouldn't it, for cooking?
I'm looking right now. Where is that? Where's my chart of focuses? Let's see, maybe intelligence, cultural. Yeah, brewing is intelligence. Cultural lore is intelligence. I guess cooking would be.
Maybe crafting.
I can cook. We could catch a few rabbits.
Yeah.
I could make us something
Well,
very nice.
I can certainly hunt. That's.
I mean, be fair. And I hold up my hand as it sparks electricity.
Have it cleaned before you bring it anywhere near me. I can't eat something cute.
To be fair, if you are the one doing the hunting, I think it might be cooked before it comes back.
Okay, that's fair. That's very fair.
Well,
Ka, you will stay with us this evening. And as we go through this camp, so as to look as if you're a proper slave, but after that, you're free to join us or free to leave.
They don't respond.
Okay.
How can I make you more comfortable, Ka?
They, again, don't respond and now just look concerned.
Chrysalin, I've been in a place where your world was shattered. It'll take time. That's it.
that's the only thing it will take. Time. And just more time.
Why don't you have a nap, Ka?
Pay no mind.
Stop, Carl!
His name is Ka.
Like, oh, mommy, how much did you spend on this chair? I don't give a fuck.
Legit though, this thing was expensive back in its day.
Yep. Cats are the worst creatures. They should all be. Yeah. You suggest that, and once again, it's one of those. I look to you for like a half a second and look away. They don't say anything. They also don't exactly lie down either.
You want to
I
see
would
something cool?
lead him to the cart,
Yep.
lay him down.
Oh, this is so uncomfortable for him. You can like see the pain in his face, but he doesn't say anything.
And then I would start
Priscilla.
massaging his feet.
It's actually to the point where it's too much to bear, and they would literally recoil away, and then
No
immediately-
communication check or anything.
Immediately start profusely apologizing. You can roll communications. Immediately start profusely apologizing for having pulled away. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's Doxy, there's never been a woman in this camp. You literally just lied him down and started rubbing his feet. Literally his in his late 20s, early 30s.
Are you telling me that he just came in his pants?
Oh, yes.
He recoiled away.
Oh man, Scott, you're messed up,
I
bro.
didn't say
At least
that.
give him a Constitution check. God.
I believe that would be
I didn't say
self-discipline, honestly. Let's be honest.
I didn't say that, but you can interpret it how you will.
You don't have to be sorry. I just want to aid this transition and make you feel comfortable and valued as best I can right now.
It's one of those things where they just look confused. I mean, other people are watching you like have this like kind of like down below having this conversation with them. Other persons that are nearby are just like walking by like, what's going on over there? But they don't not close enough to like listen to what you're saying, or nobody reacts to it because again, most people here don't give a shit about you.
Hey, we got what we needed. Let's get out of this place. This place is disgusting.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I need to change.
What are we gonna do with your armor? I don't want to give these people.
There's so many rooms in my trunks.
I know, but if they did search, we were worried about that, right?
You don't have that wagon. You have the cart, remember?
We have the cart.
Yeah, you can easily just right here strip down and get changed. That's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm going to, and I have light mail. That's the Venator armor that I have is light mail. So realistically, the main piece of that would be difficult to conceal is the chest piece. Everything else doesn't necessarily, like other than the pauldrons and the
I would think the pauldrons are like the big thing, right?
Well, the pauldrons are the distinguished. This is a Venator garb stuff, and so is the cape. But in terms of just in terms of just hiding the chest piece as well is a little bit difficult.
Gentlemen, it may be worth it to go back to the last camp. Stow your things. Grab a replacement spear. A decidedly not Venator's shield.
Oscar looks at his shield and then looks back kind of with a scowl.
I understand. This is hard, but necessary. And we're going to have to do a lot of things that are hard, but necessary.
Yeah. Plus, maybe we could show Carr a place that isn't like this.
Perhaps they'll take Ka and treat him with the respect that he deserves.
They did to me. I mean, it took a long time. Anyways, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Oscar, what do you think?
Time. Do we have time?
We have time to do it right. And Chris Ellen's right.
Then we do it.
So you don't
have much of a say.
You don't get changed now. You're gonna start walking.
Yeah, we're
back.
gonna ride back to the. Well, we're gonna ride back to Amalta.
Yeah,
I guess technically.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's only a 3-hour trek to get there. As soon as you start moving the wagon that way, Cod jumps off the wagon and starts immediately like walking next to it.
No. You can ride.
You will ride.
Again, it was one of those like looks of confusion.
Well, either that or you can ride on the back of the horse with me. It's your choice, but you're not walking. That's just silly.
Genuinely confused and looks like super tentative. And as he goes to climb back onto the cart again before it starts again, just like looks at the cart and back and forth. Perception, empathy checks if you guys have it.
0.
Yeah, Oscar's just not.
Doxy's
Ellen's on fire.
Doxy's the one that
Thank
gets it.
God.
Doxy, this entire time, you finally understand what you didn't quite get before. They think this is all a trick, a joke, that you're playing with them.
I can understand why you would be wary with the way that you've been treated undoubtedly all your life. But let me ask you this, Ka. When's the last time any of them asked you your name? When's the last time any of them cared that you had one?
Shakes his head.
I know that I'll have to earn your trust. But I want you to know that you can trust me. And you can trust my companions.
They will, continue with your empathy and everything you were using beforehand. They will sit on the wagon, but like not comfortably in the back part of it. It's one of those like a kid hanging off the back of a hay cart or whatever, like legs dangling. They'll sit there, or like a flatbed, with the legs dangling. They'll sit there and hold on to the side as the thing starts moving. You quickly get the impression as the thing is moving with the bumps and whatnot, it's jostling. It's a little jarring for them. They've probably never been in a cart before. But either way, so you guys are able to 3-hour trek or so make your way back to Amulta. Hey,
So about an hour and a half, halfway. I'll say. So Oscar, another thing, I didn't want to say this up close. That big fancy tent, that obviously was not a military person. It was some kind of nobleman that was there. The first tent we walked by that smelled like a perfume and had furs on it and whatnot. Another thing that I noticed was that their buildings were not lined up to defend themselves from Parendel, but to attack Amulta.
Or defend from Amulta.
One of the two.
Usually both.
And another thing I thought Chrisella was right is it might be best if they think we're heading back and they don't know which way we're coming from. Because that man thing obviously cared more about money than anything else. And that usually means they don't know how to keep their mouth shut. So now they won't know if we avoid the camp on the way back, they won't know which direction we're, if we go north of it or south of it to avoid the camp, they won't know our exact point that we're trying to cross the border.
I'm glad I gave a false name.
Yes, I noticed that. That's why I called you ma'am. I forgot your name. I'm sorry.
Luthera. It's my favorite.
Luthera. Okay. Do I need one?
Yes.
Haslo. How about that?
Hasbro.
No.
They own Dungeons and Dragons.
It's too close.
Oh, I'm not good at this. This is creative thinking.
Are there any? This is more of a general question because I do speak the Gnomish language. Are there any like common Gnomish names that I'm aware of?
You can come up with whatever you feel is a common Gnomish name. I kind of leave it open, but I mean,
okay.
You just
Bibbidi boop.
No, not that. You need to be bibbidi bobbidi boop. Jeez. Come on. How about Graham?
No, it's a terrible name. No one should ever be named that.
You are now Davidin.
Davidin. Okay.
Davidin.
Davidin. All right.
That's what I was talking to my wife about like the people that I stream with, and like, oh, well, everybody's real names. And I was saying, she's like, wow, you guys all sound like white bread, like white bread, like not even with jam. It's really bad. And I kept going down the list, and one of them was like, well, there's Will and Graham. She goes, Graham's a nice name. I was like, well, his name's William, like Will. Graham's his last name. She goes, white bread. It's like
Scottish.
I was like, really? Everybody? She goes, I don't know, Scott.
True.
Wade.
Oh, so funny. It's funny. We were saying that Wade had the best name out of everybody. Because if you think like Scott, Pat, Mike, but Wade, hey, it's different. And you can think Wade Wilson. You know what I mean?
Mallory is a dope ass name.
Yes.
Wow. All right. It was nice streaming with you guys.
I like my name. I don't care.
Mal, bad in the Latin.
In the Latin.
Sorry.
And what name will you be giving me?
Oh, I thought I saw Wade in chat for half a second because you yelled. Oh, he is in chat. I'm not crazy.
Often.
Okay, cool. I'm like, wait, I thought I saw him.
Thanks. I hate it.
You'll remember it.
Will I?
Then choose your own.
I don't know. Oscar actually cracks a smile because he's clearly trying to poke fun at you right now. I don't get a cool name like Davidin.
I like it. Wow, what a...
Trade for all I care.
Oscar just keeps riding at this point.
We not gonna be Wade? No?
How about Spade? Mm-hmm.
Like, what's the actor's name? Damn it. Still can't think of
David?
it. It's so bad.
David
You're not my
Spade.
sister. You're my sister. Spade. Spade, come on, help me out here.
David Spade.
David Spade.
I just said that. Like,
I'm sorry.
seconds.
You like half of that word cut out for me, so I didn't
Okay.
hear the
No,
name.
David Spade. Yeah.
David, yep. David Spade. Yeah, there you go. Anyways, moving
But
on.
he's
So you make
Davidin
your way-
because David the gnome. That's how I came up with it.
Yeah.
Davidin.
So
Davidin.
you guys make your way back to Malta, to that small town of Asius. Yeah, Asius. To the small town of Asius, and you are able to kind of like go in, and the magister that's there when you kind of like you're surprised to see that you're in the area again, but it doesn't necessarily have to speak to you or approach you unless you choose to do so. You obviously are able to get your hands on a shield. Do you grab another spear, or do you use a different weapon?
Do grab another spear, and a shield. Actually, I'm gonna grab a heavy shield, not a medium shield.
Sure. Yeah, that shouldn't be an issue, is it?
I can use it without any issue. I'm trained in that. It's not a problem. It doesn't change anything for me from a
They'll
mechanic
give you the
standpoint.
heavy shield. Yep, that's fine.
Yeah, it's purely just that those are usually more like tower shields. They're
Mechanically,
very
they are
different.
better. The shield bonus is 3 instead of 2.
The shield bonus is 3, but the heavy leathers are 1 down, so this means I don't have to change my defense.
Cool.
That was really the reasoning why. But also because it is vastly different from the medium shield, and it is, Oscar's still trained in it. He knows how to use it, but it is different enough that it's very clearly not Venator. But he would get essentially a half tower shield. So it's more of a rectangular shield, something that he can still very easily platform the spear on if he needs to fight.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Doesn't have that crescent cut into it. It doesn't have that grace
Precisely.
that it usually has. Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah. And it would be fairly simple. And he would actually go to the Magister and
The spear
say,
itself, the spear itself also seems
Yeah.
flimsy, because like a Venator spear is one of those ones where, generally speaking, when you get it, it's crafted so well, it's meant to stay with you. This is a spear that's meant to be used and eventually replaced.
Yeah.
So
And I imagine it feels like my throwing spears a little bit more than my regular spear, and that's fine. But
so you speak
I'm
to the
actually
Magister.
I'm going to speak to the Magister, and I'm just going to say, I'm going to be going far away to a place where I can't necessarily show who I am.
Over the border. I said over the border. I understand.
Over both borders.
Oh, I understand that as well. It's
Which means that I
dangerous trek.
can't-
You realize that you're bringing a delicate person with you.
Not as delicate as you'd think.
Are you sure?
Oscar kind of takes a deep breath for a moment and then says, doesn't really matter what I think. They're coming whether I want them to or not. But it would endanger them more if I were to bring my armor, my spear, and my shield with me.
Oh, I agree with you on that one.
Would you mind storing them for me
It'd be an
until I
honor.
come back? Thank you, sir.
You returned with another. Please
Yes.
don't tell me you pilfered it.
No.
Well, actually, let me correct that. Please don't tell me you pilfered them.
No. Traded.
Why are you buying slaves? It's their
free them.
it's their style, not ours.
To free.
Dropping.
I would rather go into that camp and slaughter everyone in control and free every single one of them. But I don't have that choice.
All you would do is raise the ire of a nation full of slaves.
Yes.
You
And I
can
don't
drop
feel like
copper
killing
into a
slaves.
well, hoping to have your wish granted, and each copper you throw is just another copper wasted, and then you yourself will be a poor man, not much in a better state than they themselves are.
Yes. In this case, manage to trade with words rather than with coin. That, I believe, you were intending to refer to Chrysalin as the frail one, the delicate one.
No, I would never speak to somebody of her stature like that. I mean Laszlo. He's known to anybody who spent any amount of time in the capital.
And what do you know of him?
That he's fragile.
Fragile how?
You know he came to us.
Yes.
Well, let's just hope that that's where he wants to stay.
I am confident. I'm confident that he does.
As was the king, and as is the queen. May she be well. But nonetheless, you're now walking him out of Amalta, where the countryside has its beauties, the people have its charm, into a place where it might be a little similar to his life that he walked away from. Remind him of all the delights that he had before. You might even be walking him into the arms of a few old friends.
Why do you think they sent me?
I've no doubt why they sent you once I saw who you were with. I don't know, you said Chrysalin. I do not know her personally, but I see her, is it a pendant? How do you wear your diamonds?
Brooch.
Brooch. I saw her brooch. I'm no
It
fool.
clasps her cloak shut normally.
Yeah. I saw her brooch. I'm no fool.
Good. What do you know of what we're doing here?
Nothing. But to see you walking around with Laszlo means that I am here to provide whatever aid I can to the crown.
Yes. Well, what we aim to do is cause a disruption.
With
Are you
Paradel,
familiar?
not with Jovance, correct?
Correct.
Go on.
To give us enough time to go and speak to those in Jovance. Not to cause a disruption there. Although it might be to cause a disruption there.
What do you need help with?
Well, we're going to be crossing 2 borders. And you have scouts. Now, those scouts, have they given you any reports of easier pathways? Pathways that aren't as heavily guarded on the front lines. Areas that are perhaps easier to pass through.
To the east of here, obviously, is directly to the east of here is where Paradel is, just over Jovance, yes?
Yes.
They hold that line specifically because it's the thinnest point between the two nations, and so it'd be the easiest way to get into our nation. Very far to the east and to the south a considerable bit is where Paradel has been attacking Jovance, transferring the lands into Jovencia. But there's a gap of space between those two war fronts. Again, very to the east of here, but only a bit to the south. Not too far north of the lake that's along that border. I'm not super familiar with the geography myself, but if I remember correctly, there's a river that runs into that lake. Along that area, I imagine there's not too much combat that goes on. The river is a good divide, and Scouts say that they don't usually see camps set up over there. You'd have to travel considerably further than you are right now to the border, but you're less likely to run into large encampments of soldiers. Actually, be running in behind them.
Well, that may be very useful to us. There is an individual who is providing in scrolls, magics. And we're going to be trying to take them out.
Your best bet would probably, unless you're looking to go searching camp to camp, there's a city right on that river that I just mentioned, Renitslav. It's a Jovensian city. You might be able to find information there before you have to head back west towards those front lines.
Noted.
I am curious.
Yes.
If this works out, if you survive and you come back, tell me the beauty of the wall and its majesty from the other side.
I will do so. It is still a sight.
It's, have you heard the reports that have come in recently about it?
No. What are the reports?
As we transitioned into the warmer weather, everybody anticipated seeing the streams coming off of it to turn into more or less rivers flowing. They have not. They've slowed.
They've slowed.
They have. The rivers, the stream that ran off of thing, it seems to be holding stronger than it had been even throughout the winter.
That seems almost impossible.
Yes, impossible indeed.
Wonder why. Just off of that, can I make an arcane lore check to just see if there's magics that can do that, like just from my knowledge?
I mean, it's magics that are holding it together, so sure.
Right,
yeah, arcane
but to
lore,
extend
yeah,
that,
yeah.
because I thought it was quite difficult already to have it
yeah.
created in the first place.
You guys
but-
were recruiting boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not boys and girls.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
magically young.
Yeah.
That's a really high check. What would you? You suppose stunt would be degree of success or anything on this one. So,
degree of success is
yeah.
great.
So honestly, it would have to be some like high tier magic, like, and not like one person, like a cabal of high tier mages. Maybe a deal was struck with the Arcane Congress, even if temporarily. Maybe you guys got yourselves in your hands in some seriously powerful reagents, like really powerful reagents. I mean, something like that might be able to enhance magics to that degree, but you would have to still have a cabal of high tier magics.
Oscar wouldn't say anything about that. He just says that's fascinating. Well. Lucky us, I suppose.
I wouldn't spend too much time worrying about it. We both have our own tasks at hand.
Yes, we do.
Let's get them done.
Oscar gives a proper bow and feels almost good to put a weight behind the bow again because the last one he gave felt so empty. So,
Nice.
yeah, and then he'll leave. Thank you again, sir. And he will leave his armor and shield and spear by the door. And yeah, he'll walk away from it.
That night, he wears them and starts role playing with his wife.
Yep. No
I
doubt.
am Venator! Just like, oh, don't get me with your spear.
Just the pauldrons. Just the pauldrons.
Just the
and cape.
pauldrons. In nothing else, pauldrons and cape. All right.
I'll save you. Okay. When you get back to the cart, so Chrysalin will be just bouncing names off of Ka and be like, Georgian, Credence, Winston, Like,
You say Winston, he like winces.
What on earth are you doing?
coming up with a name that you don't hate, Ogden.
I was giving you a hard time, Chris Ellen. That's all.
Winston's right. Winston feels right.
Partial to Credence.
Take your picks. I'll use whatever name.
Maybe
You
conversion.
take yours.
I'm gonna make
For now.
a vote in chat. It's been a while since I did this in chat.
For now, I guess we should ask, Ka, do you want to come back with us? It's going to be dangerous. We're going across the front lines. Or would you like to stay here and spend time just moving back into...
That's not a fair question.
It's not,
He's
but it's not a fair situation.
he'd be by himself here.
You might.
Trust me. We're
Well, the other side of that is the Magister's a good man. He's going to be taking care of my armor, and I mean, there are people here. There are good people here.
I think we ought to defer to Laszlo's opinion. I think that he can offer more than either of us right now.
Fair enough. So,
I hope you don't take this the wrong way. But Oscar, he's not going to give you a real answer right now. Anything he says is going to be based off of what he was trained, what was put into his mind. And if we leave him here, we're leaving him susceptible to anybody to take advantage of him. I was lucky. I was able to defend myself. I mean, Ka, can you fight?
Look at him.
Kyle looks concerned. Like,
I'm not gonna fight you.
He can't fight his way through those rations.
still hasn't tried them.
He's just gonna be. He's gonna be forgotten here.
Kai would like you to stay with us until you find your own mind.
Doesn't give it.
But you are a free man.
speaking of, would you like some clothes? We can pick you some up while we're in town here.
Doesn't say anything, but for the first time ever, actually seemed interested in something that you were offering.
Clothes.
Shopping is my area.
I will defer to you on that, Chris Ellen.
Montage.
Shopping for clothes. Maybe let's get some food as well that's going to not taste like, dry meat. And I mean, there's
Would it
not
be
that
possible?
much.
Do you think it'd be possible if someone would let us use their house for the night? Maybe if we pay them, they could stay with a friend, and we would have a kitchen and
Maybe.
a nice place to stay instead of, I like tents and sleeping under wagons, but
There are abandoned houses. If you ask the Magister, they would just let you have one.
I'll check with the
They're
Magister.
not well
and
maintained, but there's abandoned houses. So.
I'll check with the Magister and see if they have something that we could use. Give me a moment, and I'll go back and do that. And Chris Ellen, why don't you take cost shopping in the meantime?
Aye.
All right.
Chris, honestly, just spend a couple of silver pieces. You're fine, and you get them some clothes. It's one of those things where it's like
69 gold pieces.
Jesus.
Wow.
That's how many I have left.
Oh, okay.
Not spending on Ka? You sure? You don't want to spend 69 gold on our new friend?
So, anyways, you don't like you don't get anything too extravagant because you know that would make them uncomfortable.
I let him choose.
Yeah, it's just, and again, he chooses clothes that are so simple, but the quality of like the material is like so much better in this color. Like,
I
it's
wouldn't
one
let
of
him
those-
choose. I wouldn't let him choose anything simple. I would hold up 2 outfits that complement him, right? And see which one he reacts to.
it's such a my wife thing.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yep.
I let him. You can have whatever you want, not those pants.
Oh, I'm sorry. That shirt? No. But have you thought about these shirts?
I'm not going to sit here and and get on that hype train, but
I would want him to like and feel comfortable in his clothes and feel confident. Like that she knows how much that matters.
Yeah.
Right?
That's why he can't choose his own.
That's exactly why he can't fucking choose his own. That's why I would give him a selection to choose from.
To be fair,
and he would choose one that he likes.
I wear a lot of plaid now, and I had never worn plaid since I was a boy until after I got married. And then the first person to buy it was my mother-in-law, because my wife convinced her to, because they're like, you should wear plaid. And now I have so much plaid, and I love plaid. So, it kind of works out. And I never wore shorts until literally around when I started streaming, was when I first started wearing shorts since I was a kid. Now I wear shorts all the time in the summer. Like, well, I'm saying, I'm not saying that you're wrong, Doxy. I'm just saying, is it right?
It is. A slave cannot pick fashion. I'm sorry.
You're saying they're lesser people, like husbands. I get it. I get it. Yeah. No, I get it. You're saying being a husband slavery. I get it. So, you choose a couple of outfits. They have to choose between them. They understand that there's no choice otherwise because they're slaves. So, and they make a decision. And honestly, again, it's the quality of fabric that makes them happier, and the fact that there's any degree of color. The fact that it contours well and so on and so forth, that stuff is just like, oh, why is it like, it feels like, it's like me wearing, what are they called? Skinny jeans. I don't. I have to visit 11 stores to find pants, because you can't order jeans online because they're all skinny jeans. So I have to visit, not even exaggerate, I have to try 5 pairs of pants, 9 stores to find jeans that fit. So you just brought me into a store and said, you're wearing skinny jeans. And he's like,
that is not the way that it would be at all. At all.
Because it compliments him well.
No, she didn't say makes them look the best. She said makes them have confidence in themselves, which means things that feel good and things that accentuate the positive things about your body. And not, oh, you just look smashing. That's what she would do to Oscar.
Oh,
that is what she would do to Oscar. You're not wrong. Yeah.
He'd be like an Oompa Loompa in skinny jeans. Anyways.
He's very weird. Yeah. Way too tight.
Now we need the fan art of Chris Ellen's boys. Just leaning on a wall. On a wall.
A
little gnome.
It's HM for men. Anyways, so anyway, he picks up clothes, seems a bit more comfortable. You actually get him to chuckle, probably twice, small chuckles, but barely says any words, barely ever speaks. So
I would also ask him if Ka was his given name or his slave name.
Based off expression, you don't think that they know that there's a difference.
Okay. I would also ask him if he likes it, or if he would like to be known as anything else while we're assigning names to people.
No opinion on it. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like, it's my name, That's probably even the verbal response they would give. It's my name.
I like Winston, if you want a new name.
Oh, by the way, Credence won the vote.
42 additional votes spent on it. I just want to note that.
Because you could spend daddies on it.
Not real daddies.
Step-daddies.
Yeah. I put that in there, yeah. So Credence won. Crushed it. By the way, those 42 additional votes were all for one person. So.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah. You my apologies. You have that time, you get your stuff. You guys get a room, a house, spend the night. I don't know if there's anything specific you need to do here.
I'm cleaning that up. Oh, magic cleaning.
Do you have a map of this area or no?
No.
No. I think we have a general one, but not.
You have
not
a general.
Yeah.
Mirror, mirror in my hand, show me that striking man.
Mm-hmm. So, I think we probably do need to have a conversation with Heathguard at some point.
We were told to speak to him again once we're at the border.
I think you ought to do that while Ka and I tend to other matters.
So this is the clip.
No, Scott, no.
So you and Ka probably go off and girl out for a minute or whatever. You guys have that conversation.
I would just take him out and try to make him more comfortable with me, and the rest of us. I just no matter what, he's a fragile dude right now, and it's better safe than sorry. He shouldn't be privy to that conversation just yet.
Or
So
magic of that caliber.
yeah,
Or that.
maybe terrifying. Before we contact Heathguard, Oscar would actually kind of he would look at Lazo. It's just us sitting in the room now, presumably here, and just so two things.
Mm-hmm.
One, the most recent report about the wall, which I don't know if you've seen the ice wall before.
It was the first time when you showed it to us early, a couple of days ago, or
Well,
a day ago. Beautiful.
Time is weird, but it's apparently holding up better now than it was in the winter. Yes, that
That's
exact
odd.
face is the face that I made moments ago when I was speaking to the Magister. Now, I believe that with proper access to reagents and a cabal of high-level magicians of sorts, that could be possible. But there is one other potential. Many others, really, but one that popped into my head was that perhaps there was an agreement reached with at least some members of the Arcane Congress. Because who else has that level of magics?
I don't see that happening.
It's just a thought. That kind of magic is almost impossible. I would say it was impossible if I hadn't just heard about it.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're right. Have you ever heard of the Sill?
The Sill? No.
They're like us. It's a race of creatures, of people. They have strong affinity from what I've seen with elemental magics. Could be them helping Amulta.
What reason would they have to help Amalta?
Let's just say the Arcane Congress hurt them really bad.
I want to make an empathy. I don't have empathy, but a perception check on you on that one,
Go right
if that's
ahead.
all right with you.
Yep.
I guess that would be communicate. I mean, I'm not
Perception.
directly lying.
It's still
I mean, I
low.
would say you would still try to hide it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not telling the truth. So I guess communication.
Good enough. Well, I'd be curious to know more about how they hurt them, but perhaps that's a story for another time. Maybe, if they are as keen with those magics as you say, then perhaps they have.
I mean, it's an option. I don't see the Arcane Congress changing their position with Amulta.
No.
They're rigid. They got rules. I don't see them changing that. I do see, I mean, I don't know. There's so many powerful magic items that I've heard about over the lands. Maybe someone discovered something.
I think an item could do that.
There has been some pretty powerful items found in the past. There are crystals that could make spellcasting more powerful, but like you said, that's a reagent.
Yes.
There's a lot of possibilities. Magic is a wonderful thing.
Dangerous thing in the wrong hands.
It's not dangerous if everyone has access to it. It's only dangerous when it's select few have it.
I think it's dangerous no matter what, but it can be a very good thing. But
Yes.
one person with ill intent, they can do a lot of harm.
Oh yes, but magic doesn't stop. Magic doesn't make that any different than anything else. Look at the creature in the tent that we just met.
I was so incredibly ready to slit that man's throat.
Yeah, that wouldn't have helped anything.
No, it wouldn't have. No, it wouldn't have. It is not often that I let my emotions get the better of me.
Did you hear that?
Is there a
no.
Is there some kind of cat in this house? Very odd.
There's a feral stray. I think you should kill it.
Oscar doesn't hurt animals.
Weren't you gonna catch us a rabbit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But anyways,
animals like a stray cat.
Let's as nice as Chrysalin is, maybe we shouldn't leave her to have to do work so much with Ka. He's not exactly an intriguing fella just yet.
No, but she is probably the best of us to make him more comfortable.
Oh, without a doubt, yes. I think we should.
Know we should get back to it soon, but I have one other thing to ask you.
Yeah.
The Magister, when I just spoke with him, he's familiar with you. He spent some time in the capital. He said you were fragile.
Yeah. I was broken when I came to Amolta.
And are you still?
I don't think I'll ever be right.
How can I help?
Time.
Oscar just nods kind of knowingly and just... We should speak with Heathguard.
Yes, we're supposed to talk to him about the next part of our mission, right? Because we got our job, but
Yes.
he was awfully vague on what Chrysalin was going to be doing more explicitly, besides try to stabilize them a bit. It seems like an overwhelming task for a nation of merchants.
We still need to deal with one thing before we can even get to Yovance. We need to deal with that individual who's been providing soldiers, the Parendel soldiers, with magical artillery.
And discuss a certain sensor.
Yes. Yes, the numb. I don't know how we're gonna talk to them with their tongue cut out, though.
Yes, well, I meant to ask. Is that term offensive?
I've never heard of it until this time.
But
I wasn't a frontline fighter. I was support. I was acquisition of items.
Acquisition of items.
Yeah. If you can't tell, I'm pretty good at studying things.
Yes, that is completely vague. Oscar gives kind of a smile at that, knowing full well that you're not going to tell him, but he just wants you to know he acknowledges it. Well, let's speak with Heathguard. And Oscar takes out the mirror.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, show us this old guy. That's probably false.
Show us Chrysalin's fall, please.
What? We don't know this.
No.
I haven't told you guys yet. It's kind of fucked up that she still hasn't told you that.
No, it's fucked up that I got spoiled in session one.
I know, I'm the worst.
No, it happens.
I feel really bad about it, though.
I was so excited. I was like, oh my god, I can't wait till it finally comes out.
And then it did.
Ruined
Weren't you
everything.
so excited that it came out, Scott?
Yeah.
So Oscar would focus on the mirror and sit down again beside Laszlo, so that Laszlo was in frame.
You focus on it.
Yeah.
So you focus on it, and you see, once again, as always, it kind of like zooms up onto him, and he turns around and he's like, "Gentlemen,
Savant, we have reached the Maltese border with Yovance. The thin line between Paradel and Amulta lies in front of us. We have some questions.
I imagine you do. Please."
In the last town that we were in, we discovered that there was a member of the Arcane Congress of some degree, called a Num by some of the men, who is providing access to magical items of sorts to Paradel troops, including scrolls and wands. The Magister there asked if we would make a detour across the border to take this individual out and slow them down. I'm in agreement with him. I think it would be a responsible thing for us to do to slow down any attacks, to make sure that any interaction we have with the Ovants wouldn't be for nothing. Because if they come at us with strong access to magic, with success in those attacks, then there's not going to be an Amalta to come back to.
This is the first task of this is the first task in your mission here. It's to go and cripple the aid of these of the Arcane Congress to the Paradel. Use that as leverage when dealing with Yovants. Exactly as you're saying. Now you're looking to kill the mages. I'm of course fine with that. Susie. You're looking to kill the mages. I'm of course fine with that. They're a nuisance. You can deal with them however you see fit, so long as they're dealt with. What is the question here?
Well, the question was whether or not it was on task, and it sounds like it is. So that answers that. That actually kind of derails other questions that I had. Laszlo, do you have any in the meantime while I think on this?
Yes. Heathguard, are you alive?
You mean...
The real one.
Oh.
You were told to make this,
My
which
apologies.
obviously...
It takes a moment to forget that. It's jarring to know that you're not real. I at the time that this was created, I was in fact alive. That's how this would have been created. As to whether or not I'm alive now, again, it's strange to think about, but I imagine, I hope that I am. I hope that I still serve my queen and country well.
I assume they told you to make this after giving you a task that you might not come back from. A man of your knowledge and experience would be a horrible thing to lose. At least something should remain.
It's actually, many people were given tasks. It was meant not to be one mirror, but many. Malta.
It's very expensive.
He nuts. It is indeed. It comes at many costs. Because you explained a bit how this was done before, Laszlo. Did you explain the cost on the individual making it?
No, I didn't go that deep with you.
Okay, didn't think so.
Just the wear of the magics over time and kind of stuff.
Right.
You obviously heard his verbal response and the tone to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Heathguard, if there's anything I can do to aid you, don't hold back. I may be a servant to your country and your queen, but I'm not a military member.
There's a reason why you were instructed to be on this mission. You have talents that nobody in Malta does. And we believe that your heart is in the right place. We don't need to discuss whether or not your ability or dedication is being questioned, because they're not. But moving away from that, we know the task. What is your approach?
Oscar's currently sitting there in his heavy leathers, his tower shield and non-Venator spear sat down beside him. They're perfectly visible. Mm-hmm. And he kind of motions to himself and says, well, we thought we'd go in a little more subtly.
So not along the front lines, then? You're looking to make your way around?
I was told of a river to the east and to the south, in between the front lines and the push from Paradel into Yovance.
There are 2 regions that you can get into Paradel from Amalta that would not raise too much of an eye. The one you're referring to is probably the better, considering time is unfortunately always of the essence. If you stay in Yovance, but south of the Paradel border, as far south as the lake, you could probably travel along the lake. People likely wouldn't bother you there. There's no war that takes place there. You'd be able to pass through, most likely unnoticed, unhindered, unbothered. When you get to that river, you can then head north. There very well may be guards, there very well may be scouts and the like. They could cause a hindrance, but the likelihood is far less. You're probably not going to find a camp there. There's no benefit to taking that land. There's no benefit to taking that lake. It's farmers around there. It's fishermen around there, and it's not a primary source of food or delight for Juvencia. So for Yovance, there's not a lot of slaves that would be freed around there. It's actual citizens, regular people. So it's not a strategic point for them to grab. They likely won't attack there. There likely won't be military. The other option is to make your way past to the north, past and through Twin Lake, into Galdaria. Galdaria and Paradel have a truce.
That would take time.
Considerably. But a Venator would have no problem passing into Galdaria, and a keen person would not have too much trouble passing into that region's called Juvencia.
We have a great talker, a charismatic person with us. Chrysalin is her name. She could talk us through the border, even if we did meet up with some guards.
My apologies. I knew that we were sending a diamond. What did you say their name was?
Chrysalin.
Go on.
Yes, she.
Can I just? I'm gonna just perception that.
She's completely capable in talking people. I mean, just earlier today, there was you know what? It doesn't matter. She would be able to get us through a border without a problem. I believe she's a wonderful person.
The question really there is, either way, do we want to take the time to go through Galdaria?
No.
No, I don't think we do.
If they're supplying scrolls, they could, if they have enough, they could arm a small force with them and easily wipe out a group, especially from what we saw in Yovance.
I think that entire camp that we saw. No tell. I think that entire camp that we saw would be wiped out easily.
Yes. So the last question that we had for you, Heathguard, what is the next job? Is it something
Not
we
the
can set
last
up?
question.
Don't worry, I have another one.
Okay.
Oh, do you?
He says-
last
I
question
do.
I'm asking. Sorry.
The last
Yes.
question I have for you is, what is the next job after this?
Yes. Can we set up and
As a reminder,
in-
as a reminder, and I imagine there's long gaps of time between when we speak and when we speak again. Though for me it seems like fleeting moments. So the task is for you to lend aid on the battlefront and use that as leverage to shore up our ally in Yovance. to make sure that they understand that we stand with them, that we offer them great aid, and that it is of their benefit to continue to protect our borders. They are dealing with that upstart in their nation.
What are your thoughts on that upstart?
That there will always be revolutionaries in every nation, no matter how well or how poorly they're run, no matter how beloved or how hated their rulership happens to be. Some revolutionaries have the right idea, but the wrong time. And some are fools.
Often a mix of both. Fair enough. And we acquired a scroll. One that, and perhaps Laszlo, you might be able to describe this slightly better than I can, but one that provides the ability to see or hear when set up. And now, Laszlo, you believe that the individual who made the scroll would be able to see or hear through this, is that correct?
Yes. That's what it was set up for. It's you set up the sensor and a person, anybody that knows of it, can scry onto that spot and use it.
This is instilling a sensor then. This isn't actually a typical scry.
No, this is putting a sensor. Much more direct.
Are you familiar with these yourself, Laszlo?
I've never used them.
Are you familiar with them?
I know of them, yes.
They've been put in our castle before.
It's a common tactic.
They're notoriously difficult to find.
Interesting.
What is your question pertaining to it?
Do you have any recommendations for how to use it? Or should we not?
I don't know how it functions from the end of the person that is looking in, but I do know a degree of how it functions from the receiving end. It has no weight. It has no... You can't see it. It has no weights to it. Nothing. But you can still, I suppose, feel it when it's nearby. If you are listening or just happen to be lucky enough to notice it. They are like a small bead that suspends itself in the air. Generally speaking, just out of a gnome's reach. Over the head of a normal man, so they wouldn't bump into it for wherever it is placed. We once had a network of them in the castle. This is around when I first took the position. It was difficult to walk into that situation, but the way that they were spaced out between them, I think there's a certain range that they have the ability to perceive through. I don't know exactly what that range is, but if I had to guess, maybe 20 meters. In all directions, of course.
Right. 20 meters. And you said of vision or of hearing?
I believe so. Unless somebody is incredibly keen at lip reading, they would have to be able to hear. Or unless they're so good at selecting voices and who they belong to, they'd probably want visual cues as to who it is that's speaking. So I imagine they would need to use both of those pick up both those sensories, right? But I've never scryed before.
Fair enough. Because we had a thought around making the Perrin think, Perrin of Paradel, of course, think that Chrysalin was one of theirs, acting as a spy. if we could somehow manufacture a situation with this sensor.
She's a diamond.
She is.
What if they identified her as being a diamond?
That's my concern.
If they identified her as being a diamond, then she's high enough profile that they would know. They'd be able to discover that pretty quickly. Now, if she's able to disguise this, I don't know how good she is at doing such things, but assuming she is, okay, very well. Something like that could work. But if this sensor was intended to be put in a particular location, they probably anticipated seeing whoever it was that it was meant to see.
It's meant to be on the edge of a woods.
Do you know if it had an intended target, location, or person that it was looking after or receiving messages from?
Huh. There were individuals who had infiltrated one of the small towns. Their leader is still a prisoner there after we captured him. He was saying that they were going to be sending messages.
Well,
So I suspect him.
do you think he could be used to send false messages, or do you think that he is simply going to give them warning?
Oscar kind of takes a deep breath for a moment and then thinks back to him breaking the guy's leg. I don't have confidence that he would be compliant.
Then I think this sensor might just have to sit unused for some time. If it was intended for him to be the one that was seen on the other side, or if it was intended to be in a place where you were watching specific persons, and you set it up in the wrong location,
They're going to know.
that would be my guess, but I would have to defer to Laszlo on this one.
All right, so we wait.
So we wait.
I
Well,
would make
Crisellan's
this
not gonna be happy
suggestion,
about
though. If you do come across who it is that's created the sensor, you can discover how it is they look through it, having both ends of the power.
Oh, that would be very useful, wouldn't it?
Very useful.
Fair point. A very fair point. Well,
I think we've taken enough of Heathguard's time.
I agree. Thank you, Savant. Truly.
Of course. I'm going
Oscar
to...
gives a bow.
Yep, you bow, whatever. When you go to pick up the mirror, and you feel it's actually genuinely warm to the touch.
Oscar kind of shows it to Laszlo and says, feel.
All right, I am gonna, because I can do this.
Zappy!
I'm gonna use
Don't electrocute me through the mirror. Don't do it.
I'm gonna bounce off a jolt off the mirror. No. I'm gonna use my 1 MP touch on it. It tells me if it's a magical item, but it also tells me like the strength.
Spoiler alert, it's a magical item.
Yeah, I figured that.
The strength
like the
is
strength.
What?
Is it rare? Is it not rare? Is it weaker? Like significantly weaker, or?
Do you have to roll anything? Or do you just get it?
I can roll arcane lore if you want.
Sure.
Or, I guess it would be lore, right? It's not enchantment.
Yeah, it'd be lore. Oh Jesus. So because you rolled so high, you can notice that it is to a lesser, like a less keen person, it's imperceivably weaker. But because you are so well trained, well versed in magic items, their enchantments, so on and so forth, you can see, yeah, it is a bit weaker. And actually, along the magical lines that you look and check, you can actually see the mirror itself, you don't recall if it looked exactly like that. Almost like maybe it's even worn down a little bit on the edges.
Mm-hmm. All right, Oscar, we're gonna have to be more careful with this thing. It's starting to show wear already. It's fine, but it's mission. Yes, it's just showing wear, and usually there's a point that once it gets past, it accelerates. Just because of green, you're just looking at like a little tiny,
like a dead pixel.
Yeah, just
I don't know what that means.
Dead pixels, man. When you notice them, they haunt your dreams.
I hate that because I got one on my monitor. And I stare at it.
My wife likes to point out dead pixels too. I'm like, don't do that! God damn it! Like, well, your laptop has 5 dead pixels. I'm like, I know, it's from 2012. Leave it alone.
So, Oscar, do you think Carr knows how to dance yet?
I would have taken him to. I assume that this settlement has like a couple of merchant carts for things like veg and linens and whatnot.
Not merchant, but stuff that was supplied for the military. That you could.
Okay, I would have taken him to go get vegetables to go with Rabbit.
Sure. So we're going to take a very quick break so people can go pee and whatnot before we finish this up. But one of the things I'm going to say is that what you realize, when he said before he had bread and food, you eventually are able to pull out of them. They eat the same gruel every meal, every day, with bread. When you give them a vegetable or a fruit, or whatever it is to try, it is the most flavorful thing that they have ever eaten in their entire life. It is so flavorful, so much, it's almost overbearingly like an apple's too tart, too sweet.
There's a carrot.
A carrot, again, that's clawingly sweet. You know, it's just so much. Is the amount of crunch to it literally hurts their jaw because they've never had to work that hard to eat before, because usually just bread and gruel. So it's literally like it's work, like, whereas we would just eat it no problem. Like, oh, it's carrot, you know. It's genuinely depressing when you give them iceberg lettuce and they're like, oh my god, juicy and delicious, you know. Oh god, this is sad. But why don't we take that quick break and we'll come right back to feeling bad for Ka over and over again, the show.
You're a horrible person, Scott.
I know.